Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 25 with the Slothz Tech team as we immediately get underway with some R&D work there. Finally finishing one of the upgrades for the tyre wear, which should help magnificently going forward. And we get an event with the chassis department, which is only going to serve to annoy them even further about the amount of times that they've failed to actually deliver on a single thing that I've asked them to develop or research. But thankfully for them, it's a short gap between the weekends here, and we don't have much going on. Rear floor under tray will go in here, and we'll try and get both of them before the next race. The aero upgrades that we started before the Austrian Grand Prix still in progress, but no doubt they are probably going to fail, because that's what seems to happen with every piece of development work that I try to start in this game. I think the engineers just don't like me very much. So over to practice then. This is our home Grand Prix this week in Britain, so we'll be hoping to impress and hopefully try and pick up a full set of upgrades here as we conclude with P1. Over to P2. Bit of a tough choice to make here. Engine power again, we don't really need it, and the discount that we've got on it probably pretty significant at this point, so it might be worth looking at, if anything, to try and help the aero team catch up on their development work as they are so far behind at this point in the season. I think we probably have one of, if not the best car by now, if they'd actually managed to complete everything that we'd scheduled, but there you go. We'll just have to make do with what we've got. So that's one last attempt here. We do get the 25% success one right at the end. That leaves us with just 3 more of these to try and get. Unfortunately, primarily DRS and durability upgrades. And I mean, the DRS one is useful, but not completely necessary for us, to be honest. And that is a full house of practice. So here we go then, over to the British Grand Prix, our home Grand Prix for the team and our driver Taylor Barnard. And of course, it is a very British summer day here. The rain absolutely throwing it down, which is absolutely fantastic for me because I love driving in the wet, don't I? So this is going to be a fantastical race. And I also decided to mention, if I qualify on the front row, then I would up the difficulty to 95. So you could probably guess where this is going. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell as well as we get on to the starting grid. And as I already mentioned, you could probably guess where we are at this point. Once again at the start, on pole position for the second race in a row. This time joined by Norris. Behind us we have Max Verstappen and George Russell, Oscar Piastri and Esteban Ocon. Charles Leclerc and Victor Martins made it into the top 10, and Lance Stroll and Gabriel Bortoleto rounding out then. Then we have Tsunoda and Hamilton, Gasly and Sainz, Liam Lawson and Ollie Behrman, Alex Albon and Fernando Alonso. Behind them, Isaac Hadjar and Kimi Antonelli. And finally, it's Jack Doohan and Nico Hulkenberg, who is picking up penalties for this race. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him put in a heroic podium effort like he did just a few months ago this year. But yes, this is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? We've upped the difficulty to 95. And the first race that we do that, we have to deal with rain, which isn't ideal in the slightest. I do not drive very quickly in the wet, and this is probably going to result in me barreling back down the order all the way down to P22 if I don't crash the car in the meantime. But maybe our teammate can pick up some points here. We'll just have to see where he ends up by the end of this race. Hopefully a lot better than us. So then it's time to get underway at the British Grand Prix. The crowd are going to be cheering on Lando Norris primarily after we get underway here. But we've actually had a very good start for a change here. As we go through turn 1, Verstappen challenging Norris. That's going to slow the pair of them down and hopefully give us a chance to escape to somewhere further up the track. Not by running that wide, though, as we come through Village here. sliding all over the place, trying to find traction. No dry line just yet. We will get one later on, but at the moment we're just going to have to suffer with the car gliding all over the place. We've got a battle behind Verstappen with Russell and Piastri. It looks like Leclerc's getting involved as well. 3 wide there, with Esteban Ocon looking on, hopeful that one of them is going to spin out and crash. Looks like Leclerc's actually won that one, unfortunately, which isn't great for us in the Constructors. As we rejoin on lap 5, not a huge amount been going on here at this race so far, as Norris is closing in through Maggots and Beckett's. We've got no grip, we've got no downforce. As we slide through the exit onto the hangar straight, and Norris potentially going to have a look here. He's closing in. Also, Leclerc having a look on Verstappen in the background as well. We've gone defensive and managed to hold position, but we've run wide here, and Norris hits us as we come down towards the final couple of corners at Club, and for some reason we get the warning for the collision. I'm pretty sure he understeered into us, but there you go. He has taken the lead of the Grand Prix, and unfortunately Charles Leclerc has taken 3rd from Verstappen and is looking racy. He's going to be looking for an opportunity here. This is the onboard with Norris. He's going to go to the outside, then he's going to change his mind and go to the inside. As, yeah, I'm pretty sure he did just open the steering up there and crash into us, but there you go. We're still in the race, so it's not the end of the world. On board with Martins there as we go backwards in time momentarily, just to observe what was going on. He's under attack from Hamilton. Hamilton having the worst experience here today, driving in the wet. Oh, but we've lost Bortoletto. Sauber once again sending a car to the side of the circuit on fire. I've lost count of how many times that they've DNF'd at this point. But Bortoletto and Hulkenberg, between them, I think have DNF'd every single race. If not, maybe a couple of them they've missed. That's brought up the virtual safety car, which is now going to be coming to an end as we start lap 8. Thankfully, the torture is now 30% done, give or take a lap or two. But Leclerc is closing in, and we are losing ground to Norris. The dry line is beginning to show, but it's not really enough at this point to be of any kind of use to us. Definitely not the time to be switching onto the dry tyres as we slide onto the Wellington Straight. Unbelievable grip once again. Victor Martins still holding on to P10 and really upsetting Hamilton and the fans. The fans, for some reason, seem to be dressed in a combination of red, white and blue, and I'm not sure if that's just extremely patriotic or if they're all French, to be honest. But we'll just pretend that they're supporting Martins here as he comes through Maggots and Beckett's. Carlos Sainz also hoping for something to happen up ahead, and maybe he will get the chance of scoring his first point of the season. But here we go, Hamilton up the inside of Victor Martins here. They're going to be very close to touching, but Hamilton gets through, and our teammate slides his way back out to the apex to defend from Sainz. And we know DRS for Hamilton, or for Martins, then I guess Hamilton's in the clear, and we'll try to catch up to Lance Stroll, who is somehow in P9 right now. And this is us sliding through Magnus and Beckett's again as we come to the end of 10 laps, but we're going defensive. Leclerc going to the outside, as Norris did as well. We're going to shut the door on him again, but we've run wide again, and Leclerc is going to capitalise the same as Norris as he goes up the inside. It's a race down to Club now as we go into this very tight section. We've managed to stay ahead somehow, but we're sliding around all over the place there as we go through the first section, and sliding again, getting a little out of shape, and Leclerc's going to capitalise, going up the inside into turn 1, and we're going to leave some space, and that was the mistake that we made there, going through turn 1, leaving the door open. Should have closed it. He did back out of it, so there was an opportunity there to defend that. But, I mean, we're not doing so bad. We're 11 laps in at this point of the Grand Prix, and we've only lost 2 places. It could have been a hell of a lot worse, to be honest. Yeah, weather report coming in now, and it's not looking great. It's somewhere between dry and wet tyres, but Jeff seems to be completely useless at figuring out which one it is. As we watch Leclerc go up the inside, slight contact there as he oversteers into us, understeers into us even, and yeah, doesn't quite get the move done there. But as we slide through Club here, and we're gonna do it again there, just getting a little out of shape. Tyres are falling off the edge at this point, especially the rears, because well, I just can't help myself but generate wheel spin. And there's the condition, 65% wear on the rear left. We're going to be coming into the pits on this lap. So 12 laps down, so we're going to have to try and make the next set of inters last a little bit longer than this one. Norris has stayed out, Leclerc's going to stay out. But then again, their tyre wear probably isn't as high as mine, so this could be terrible for us here, as we're going to have to try and make up a hell of a lot of distance over these guys ahead of us, whilst driving in conditions which I'm not really that happy with. But in terms of where we're going to come out, that is the big question. Sonoda quite far back still, as I say that as he then just comes through the final corner. So there, a big group of cars are going to be ahead of us. Where's our teammate? Apparently he's nearly 30 seconds behind at this point. I'm not entirely sure that's true. It is not true. He's coming through the turn one now with Carlos Sainz behind him. He looks so slow, but there we go. We're ahead. We're still in the points, but we've got a 9-second gap to Lance Stroll to try and close up, whilst also defending from our teammate behind. And into the pits comes Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Norris, Russell and Piastri staying out a little bit longer here as we come in. We'll see what they go onto here. I'm seeing hard tyres. I'm seeing hard tyres in the pit lane. Leclerc going onto hard tyres. And this has been a disaster. Only a few laps in to using the new set of inters, and we are back into the pit lane again. And that has just thrown away any chance of us getting a podium here, unless there's a safety car later on. Hamilton's coming in there. There's Stroll as well. Sonoda out ahead of us. Hamilton's going to pull out there. I think that's our teammate in the background as well. So we are going to be double stacking here, but I think we've got a big enough gap to not be a problem for Martins. Here he comes. Nope, the pit crew are just immortalised in stone in the way of our teammate, but he's done now and he's off. He's still ahead of Sainz, so that's what counts. As we watch Lewis Hamilton now making up positions, getting round the outside maybe of Esteban Ocon. Yes, he gets the position away from him, so his recovery drive is going very well indeed. There's us in the background chasing down Lance Stroll right now, and well, this time it's not for, he's not a back marker, this is actually for position, as we get a good run on him down here, but he's going to slide out wide, and we take that inside line nice and tight, and we get through up the inside of him. Esteban Ocon up ahead. Hamilton not made too much progress at pulling away from the Haas so far. No DRS yet either, so that's going to be making this even more difficult. Ollie Behrman now coming down the old pit straight, pulling over to the side of the circuit, not having the home Grand Prix that he would like to have had, and that makes it 2 retirements now, but still no safety car to be seen. DRS on lap 22 has finally been enabled. 10 laps, give or take, of following Esteban Ocon's Haas around Silverstone has definitely left its scars, to say the very least. Verstappen's actually managed to catch us. I'm not sure what was going on with him throughout this race. I'm pretty sure he was ahead of us earlier, so clearly something gone wrong with the pit stops for him. Yellow flag through that previous section for Ollie Behrman, who's still at the side of the circuit, as we go on board watching our massive attack on Esteban Ocon. Tyres not looking great, but definitely better than they were earlier. We're going to go past him, venting our frustration as we swipe across the front of him after being stuck behind this car for such a long time and, yeah, running wide there. What I found interesting, and I think this is maybe new for this game, is the dry line, although it is there, is not completely dried out, or at least if you get a bit of water on the tyres by running wide, then you can potentially just start aquaplaning. And that did happen on many occasions as Ocon tries to defend from Verstappen. We've got 3 laps to try and keep the Red Bull behind us. I think we're going to get the elbows out as things progress. We're not going to be able to catch Tsunoda and Hamilton, who are in an intense battle for P5 right now. And we've managed to hold him off for a little bit, but with just over 1.5 laps to go, Verstappen is in range. He's going to go to the inside. Not got the speed to catch us here as we run a little bit wide there. You can see the tyres just aren't warming up on this circuit. They were freezing cold throughout basically the entire stint that I had them on. And then, of course, as soon as you start running off the dry-ish line, that caused some problems as Verstappen tries to go around the outside before Cops. Doesn't happen. He thought better of it. As we both track extend, taking the Verstappen line, or at least a more generous version of it. That might help us here as Verstappen's run a little bit further behind into the clutches of Ocon. As we see Tsunoda going for a move on Hamilton to upset the fans. Verstappen's now going to have a look around the outside as we come down here. He's going to late on the brakes, but he's not going to be able to make the position up side by side now as we come down towards Club. No, we're not. We've got the position away from him. And Ocon still waiting for one of us to crash, or both of us, to try and gain some kind of position up. And Verstappen is going to have one last lap to try and take this away from us. We've scored points in every race so far this season. This would be our worst position to finish in so far, but we don't want to finish any lower than this because that is going to put our championship at risk, especially with Piastri up there in P4. He's already gaining a big enough advantage over us. Down the Wellington Straight, we've managed to hold off Verstappen. He's not going to have a look just yet, but batteries are going to be running low here, and both of these two behind are sniffing opportunities, looking for weaknesses, trying to sense a moment to jump on us. Verstappen again to the outside. We're going to close the door. Ocon now having a look down the inside at Cops on Verstappen. Verstappen is probably having PTSD flashbacks to 2021. He's managed to hold position, but that's gained us nearly a second in gap there. Verstappen is going to get the DRS. We're sliding around all over the place, not exactly helping ourselves here. As we come down towards the final few corners, Verstappen is going to have a great run on us, but we have got some spare in the battery that we've been able to deploy. As we come round the final few corners, Verstappen's closing up, but he's not going to be able to make a move on us. Norris has won this race by a country mile over Russell, followed by Leclerc. We will come round the final corner in P7 as we slide round, nearly losing P8 to P8 there. That could have been absolutely disastrous for us as we initiate our signature losing control of the car and crashing moment. Lewis Hamilton picking up driver of the day for his magnificent comeback up to P5, I think he finished in the end. But Lando Norris picking up this must be his first race win of the season, actually, thinking about it. Maybe I should double check that later on just to see. But I'm pretty sure this is his first win. Russell, once again, up there on the podium. Leclerc on the podium as well again. Very consistent from the Ferrari and Mercedes drivers this season. That is going to make their championships so much easier. And at this point, I wish that Victor Martins was joining them. But let's get on with the race results. And so, as I mentioned, it's Lando Norris, George Russell, and Charles Leclerc who round out the top 3, followed by Oscar Piastri, who actually picked up the fastest lap at the end, but wasn't able to gain any more positions. Yuki Tsunoda beat out Lewis Hamilton to P5. Then we, of course, beat out Max Verstappen and Esteban Ocon to P7 by the narrowest of margins, just 7 thousandths of a second, according to that timing board there. And finally, Lance Stroll picked up the final point. Over to the Drivers' Championship, our lead has been slashed down to 17 points now over Oscar Piastri. Then it's a bit of a jump back to Charles Leclerc and now Lewis Hamilton, who's up to P4 in the standings. Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly make up the remainder of the top 10. Further down the order, we have Lance Stroll, Kimi Antonelli, Jack Doohan, Alex Albon, Isaac Hadjar, Nico Hulkenberg, Victor Martins, Ollie Behrman and Esteban Ocon now joining the point scorers. Then we have Liam Lawson, Carlos Sainz and Gabriel Bortoleto with 0. And finally, it's now just a 2-point lead for Ferrari. At the top of the table, McLaren are closing in. We're now neck and neck with Red Bull for P3. Then it's a bit of a jump back to Mercedes in 5th. Then Aston Martin and Alpine in a fight for 6th. And then the bottom of the field, Williams lead over RB, Sauber and Haas. And that's all for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.